Well, no.
Hi, y'all.
Mike!
Hello and welcome to the Just Another Castle podcast. I'm your host Matt, and with me this week here is our resident gaming journalist Eli.
Hello, guys. How's everyone doing?
Good. Our pro gamer, our second place pro gamer, Mike.
I'm a meme.
I'm kidding, you're amazing. And our retro aficionado, Unoclay.
Hey guys, I'm coming to you from the past. How you doing?
How many weeks have you gone now and you didn't have your little music introduction? How dare
I'm doing screens right now, and I was trying to get it ready, and you called on me too soon. I swear to God, but I was like, oh crap! It jumped onto the other screen. I was trying to move it over, and I didn't have time, so I missed it. So it's a funny joke's on me.
It's my fault.
Nice.
So we'll talk about what we've been playing. We did record an episode last week, and of course, stupid programs don't work. Hopefully, that's fixed now. I'm using OBS.
So wait, last week didn't even come out at all? My epic return at all? That's it?
No, but I mean, it'll still feel like an epic return.
No, it's already ruined. I mean, you guys are like, oh yeah, he's here again. Who cares? Now it's like last week there was tears and babies crying, and I don't even know, and good references that my one shot analogy that I can never remember because you put me in a blind fit of rage. All right,
your hot takes, we call those Mike's hot take.
All right, because once they put them out, they're hot, and if you don't get them when they're hot, well, they're gone. All
right? That's what she said. Had to go there. Yeah, that's crazy. It was a good episode too. We could maybe we could just instead of doing a new episode, we could just talk about how great last week's episode was. Not really get into the details. You remember when I said that? That was sweet.
I can't remember anything from last week's podcast. Okay, you must have got me so angry. All right, yo, Matt, make that file work.
Oh,
best episode ever. It was close to the best ever, and it's lost me.
Stop it! All those people are leaving. Can't you see what you're doing?
And yeah, it's the lost episode. That's all it is.
There's 5 lost episodes. But let's move along to what we've been playing. I haven't played much besides Fire Emblem Heroes. I don't really want to retread on it too much again, but I didn't get much further than I did last week. But basically, I'm halfway through the game. I'm liking the game. As usual with mobile games, I'm playing it to see how far I can go without spending money. And this one is actually more generous than most mobile games because every day they have a different challenge you can try either to get more orbs or more characters. And even the levels are low enough that just about anyone can play a level. Because I know there's one that's you have to be level 35 to play this. And I'm yeah, I don't have a chance to play that. But basically anyone can get a new character each day or more orbs and stuff. And orbs are used to summon new characters. And just opening the app every day gives you 2. So they're pretty generous, I would say. But if you really like Fire Emblem, you're probably going to end up spending money because the characters you get are not going to be worth your while. And I've had some bad draws. I forget the first draw I had, probably all level 3s, and then I waited I don't know, a week or whatever to get enough orbs to draw a whole new set of 5 characters because it gets cheaper the more you draw in one hand. And they were all level 3s and kind of crap, or most of them were crap. I got 2 pothead guys, I think. Yeah, they wear pots on their heads.
I was gonna say, can you define that? I really doubt you mean what I think you mean.
No, yeah, that was a joke. The other 2 characters I got were pretty good actually once you level them up, but the training grounds are fine to grind characters up to level 10, but I can't imagine playing the game until level 20 and then it's oh, I'd have to get a new character, and then it's yeah, it's level 1, good job try to grind that character up, it's like, that's not worth it. So we'll see how annoying that gets. And then like playing each level also reduces your amount of stamina, so they kind of control how many levels you can play in a certain time. So the further you get in the game, each time you challenge a map, you won't be able to challenge as many times if you keep failing. Just because if it might use up like 5 stamina or 10 stamina, and you only have 50, and it regenerates like 1 stamina per minute, so basically like a full hour to recharge. So yeah, there's some funky and weird, expected mobile things jammed into it, but for like a mobile game, I don't think it's too horrible in the way it implements like microtransactions, because you can still play it, I would say, fine without it, like just avoiding it. And it hasn't been like there's some games where you like actively try to avoid it like as hard as you can, and it'll be really difficult, but this game it hasn't been so bad, and I've gotten like a decent amount of enjoyment out of it. I don't know how it'll fare for the latter half of the game, but at least
you didn't bother to do what we were talking about in the last episode about re-downloading the game like 20 times to re-roll your characters.
No, because I'm already halfway through. I'm not going to restart again.
Yeah, right. I was just bringing that up because I thought that was really interesting when we talked about it in the super great episode last week. But I did think that was interesting that people would be doing that and going into those lengths for a free to start type of game or whatever. So, but cool.
Well, one thing before moving on, we're going to talk about some interesting 3DS games we'd like to see later in the podcast. So I think that's going to make it better than the last week's episode. So stop dissing this week. We're going to have something interesting.
This week's going okay, but it's no last week.
You just say that every week. You start posting the podcast every 2 weeks. So like there's always an off week.
Oh, man. The missing episodes, yeah, man, they're the good ones. They're the rarest ones.
Yeah. All right, so Eli, why don't we move on to you? What have you been up to?
So I've actually just been super busy, and I don't think I've played anything really other than a little bit of Overwatch. So I'm sorry, I've just been a boring old person this week, and I haven't really done anything fun.
You're so old. Playing Overwatch. What an old head.
I know. Well, I think it's more about the fact that I only played it for like 2 hours. Like I played like 2 hours of video games this whole last week, so I've just been a screw up. I need to get my crap back together.
You college students just not playing video games, going to class, doing productive things,
being responsible. What are you doing with your life, Eli? Jeez.
What is this country coming to? What is? Yeah, man.
Well, you may not have played games, but there is some interesting video game related topics. Not topics, whatever information you have. Did you want to share what's going on?
Oh, with Insomniac? Okay,
Yeah.
So I applied for an internship at Insomniac. Now, this is a little leading because it's way too early. I haven't even done the interview yet. But
he already got the job. Nice.
What?
Insomniac, thanks a lot for giving him the job. For gonna speak. Awesome. It's great.
Yeah, no, hey, who knows? Maybe I'm not even allowed to talk about it. No, but I applied they have an internship position for their PR public relations stuff in marketing. And I applied, and they sent me an email today asking to interview. So I'm excited. Maybe it'll work out. Maybe I'll be in North Carolina doing PR stuff for Insomniac. I mean, that's a pretty big company, and I think it's one of the biggest independent game developers. So if that were to work out, that'd be really rad. We'll see, though. You'll get an update eventually. I probably won't get the job, but hey, hope is out there.
You'll get an update eventually, or I won't get the job, and we will never speak of this again.
Yeah, we can all just
never
condemn Insomniac, and then we can just boycott.
No,
Joking. If you're listening to this, Insomniac.
Hey, I'm gonna play Spyro, whether or not you get the job, dude. Spyro's it. Me and Spyro.
Bro, okay, yeah, you gotta play Spyro when he was voiced by Tom Kenny. That's top tier. Ratchet and Clank, they're pretty high tier.
Yeah, everyone, let's talk about how much we love Spyro and Resistance and Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, don't tell him you work for the Nintendo podcast. You do
Sunset
Nintendo
Overdrive,
podcast.
man. Just what?
You do an Insomniac podcast with some Nintendo sprinkled in. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's awesome, man. I hope you get it.
It's congratulations.
Thanks, I appreciate it. We'll see. I'll keep you guys updated, but I didn't necessarily want to talk about the interview because it's just an interview and we don't know where it goes. But it's cool just being in the industry and like being at least good enough for an interview. That's pretty cool.
Totally. Got to keep all the pots on the stove that you can, man. You never know which one's going to boil, so it's excellent.
And if you can't tell us that you're part of the PR, you're just gonna have to leave some tips in your Twitter feed. Just like somehow leave cryptic messages.
My tweets.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Just capitalize your name letters.
Yeah.
Drop us the info. Wink, wink. Nice, dude.
Awesome. So, Mike, how's it going over there in second place land?
How's second place treating you, brother?
Man, only like $300 difference between the weeks, but whatever. I don't like you guys. We have an amazing. I'm still mad about the podcast being lost. Now I'm just back. It's not even special. Like now I'm just here in second place. Mad. Okay.
The second place podcast for a second place cast, bro. For people that have no idea why we're calling you second place Mike this week, like, you want to explain that?
No, I don't. No, because I don't want to. Bullshit. That's what it is. No, but honestly, like the last 5 Smash tournaments I've been to, like if you look at any bracket, it'll just be me in second place, and I'll just be like, damn, bro. Like Sunday, I got second place in doubles and singles. Okay, like come on, man. They're 2 different events.
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Yeah.
You'd make a beautiful bridesmaid, at least.
Yeah. Hey man, at least I'm a bridesmaid, all right? You could be chilling with eating your rice and shit in the stands.
Hey, I'm just happy to be at the wedding, man. Free drinks, I don't care.
You're the Wario.
Pleb. All right. Well, I don't know. I mean, what have I been playing? I've been playing some Kingdom Hearts 3 Dizzle. So, got my 5th grade joke out. Yeah, I've been playing that. I mean, I feel like I played this game 5 years ago on my 3DS, but I don't know if that's exactly true. But so I'm like, I'm not a sucker who constantly buys the same game, which is a lie, because then I'm going to buy 1.5, 2.5 next month, which I bought 2 years ago, and which I bought 15 years ago. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Other than that, I really haven't been playing. I mean, I got Dragon Quest 8, and I got what's that game that's not Pokemon for the 3DS? The Bony Spirit made by Level 5.
Yokai Watch.
Yeah, I got that.
Did you just call it the Bony Spirit?
That's the subtitle.
I love that subtitle. That's the only reason why
that is the real subtitle. I didn't even know that. Like, I thought he's trying to riff on what's that game? The Bony Spirit,
Sure, that's it. Bony Spirits for life. But the thing is that I realized I wanted to side with my mom, and she doesn't like bony donuts or something. I don't know. That's what the beginning of the game was about. Something about donuts versus donuts from Boney John and versus Jimmy Bill. And I was just like, all right, this guy looks like he's got a cleaner establishment, but because this is fake Pokemon Silver and Gold, this is fake Mega Man 3, Mega Man Battle Network 3 Blue versus White. I had to choose the one side I was forced to because of my game. Yeah, I mean, that game, I don't know. It's cool. I mean, I didn't get too deep into it. And like I said, I've just been slacking. So, Final Fantasy 15 got that young plat. Because you guys have to delete the podcast, I have to repeat how I have to fight a turtle for 3 hours in that game. And I go, man, this is fun. Okay? But it's not fun. Alright? Don't be a trophy grinding whore like me. Alright? That's my only advice. It's not fun. Alright? Literally, I've been done with Kingdom Hearts 3D for the longest time. But I'm not done. Because I need to get the perfect Dream Eater, which with a 1 in 200 chance % drop for one item that I need. Oh so that's my life. A meme.
Oh man, you're still amazing. You're You might be second place in Smash, but you're number one in my heart.
Thanks.
Number two. Number two.
All right, enough of this mushy, bony, erotic talk. Unoclay, what are you up to?
Bone Thugs and Harmony, bro. Nothing too revolutionary to talk about this week. I played a bunch of I've never quite finished. I'm a big fan of the original Resident Evil tank control game, so I was working my way through Code Veronica, which is not one of the numbered episodes. I don't know quite where it falls in the timeline, but I've had it for my PlayStation 2 for a long time. And it's a fairly long game, and it's got like two separate sort of campaigns, so to speak, where you play two different protagonists. And so I had finished one of the protagonists, but then you have to play through it again. Well, play through other parts of the game as the other protagonist. So I never quite finished it. I think I'm really, really close to the end now after spending maybe 3 or 4 hours this week getting after it. So since I don't own the current gen systems where I could be playing a virtual reality version of Resident Evil.
Or you could be playing Bony Spirits.
I could be playing Bony Spirits in virtual reality, but I'm choosing not to. So I'm just playing old classic grimy Spirits on my PlayStation 2, which I just... this would strike you as comical for coming from my world, my retro world. Like I gave it a big graphical improvement because I never had put component cables on my PS2. I had still had it connected to an old CRT television, and I was like sick of how crappy it looked because like some systems have to be connected, to an old style TV for them to work properly, like Atari and some of my other ones. But my PS2, I don't know why, it was just still connected to that TV because I barely ever play it. So I just moved it, bought like $5 cables, that I could have gotten like a long time ago, put it on better television, and bang. I was like, wow, this PS2 actually like took a big graphical bump here. Welcome to like, not 1999 or whatever, so it was like pretty sweet. So now I can actually see things in the game and actually play it and actually pop and shit, So
that might help. That might help.
It helps. Yeah, it helps because it's so dark on an old TV that even with like the brightness bumped all the way up, I could tell I would like not necessarily see all the items. I'd be like walking right past stuff and only find it when I came back through there, and I'd be like, pretty sure I just walked by that because I didn't see it, or whatever. So kind of important. So yeah. Been playing that. Been playing some classic Resident Evil and laughing at the corny dialogue and all that good stuff. Nothing much else. Waiting for the Switch. Waiting for the Switch to drop in like two weeks and change, and get my Switch on. So that's that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Getting so close.
Dude, I forgot that the Switch is almost out. I
know.
Honestly...
Every day almost, I keep seeing someone post the Twitter image of like 19 days until Zelda, like this many days till like Zelda comes out. I'm like, stop reminding me.
It is strange because like I forget too, and like I like to kind of have my calendar planned out of like what I'm thinking of playing. If I'm going to get a new game, for instance, like, and when it's coming, I try not to start something else. I'm sure you guys do. Maybe some of you guys do similar things. I don't know, but like I just am like, well, I don't want to start like a big game I'm looking forward to something else. And then, fill in the blank drops. And then I got to like stop playing this other good game and start that, So yeah, I've been trying to mess around, just like not start anything with a lot of commitment, which is why I went back to like Resident Evil. But I even forget, like you guys are saying, because I'm just like, why am I keep digging through these old games? I got like a stack of stuff I've never even tried out yet, sitting here, like a lot of older games. I haven't even started them yet. And then I'm like, oh yeah, because I got to have time to like hate on the Switch when it comes out.
Yeah, you reminded me. I have to finish some stealth game. I think I'm like halfway through. I should finish it before Zelda comes out because I'm not going to want to play anything other than Zelda.
So you are going to get Zelda on Wii U as soon as it comes out. You're going to go for it day one or whatever for Wii U.
Yeah, I pre-ordered it like 2 years ago or something nuts. Best Buy had some like crazy deal, or no, it was on Amazon. I pre-ordered it. Whatever. There was some deal, I think, and now it's like $15 cheaper the way I pre-ordered it, and if I held off, I'd have to pay $15 more, which doesn't sound a lot, but like $80 is still a lot more than like the 65 or whatever. So I'm like, eh. Plus, I don't know when I'm gonna get a Switch, so I kind of don't want to wait that long and be like, well, let's see how long I can hold off without it, and then it's like I don't know how many things are gonna be spoiled or if I can avoid a lot. Like, I don't want to risk it.
It's
I'll just deal with it.
That's a pretty legitimate position to hold, man. Like I don't normally I might be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you know, save up the $300, get yourself a Switch, you know, like come on, do it. But it's pretty legitimate to take the Wii U route on this. Like I love my Wii U. It's not like I wouldn't play it there. You know, I wouldn't turn my nose up at it because the graphic improvement is like, I don't think it's going to be like night and day. I don't know. I haven't seen anything convince me that it's like going to be like that like much.
Hey man, it's the same thing. PS4 Pro. It's not like, whoa, I'm getting blown out. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is though, like the difference between that is, oh, you know what? I actually had a 4K system and the VR. I can tell the difference. You know what I mean? It's like if you don't have those things, then there is no, like, me having a PS4 Pro doesn't make a difference at all. I only have a TV that goes up, the 1920, which is the same as somebody with a regular PS4 Pro, And isn't that kind of the same thing with the Switch right now? It's like, oh, this game's only going to be played like Zelda's only in 720p on the Switch, and it's like, okay, well, I mean, there's no difference then besides like 120 frames or whatever.
Well,
pixels.
yeah, I think the frames per second is still like 30 on both the.
Yeah,
it's higher resolution. I think it's like 900. The colors are different, which is weird. I'll have to cut that out. The colors are different on the two, and you don't see these clouds in like the distance trying to make up for pop-ins and whatnot. On the Switch, it's like, there's no clouds. You can see like to the ends of the map pretty much. But I do notice a difference, and it kind of sucks. But at the same time, it's like, well, in my position, it's better to just go with Wii U because I'm not going to wait like 4 or 5 months for a Switch and then be like, hey, half of the thing in Zelda are like spoiled or whatever. So I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, I have my Switch pre-order. Otherwise, like, I'd be on the same boat. I'm like, I'm just gonna get my Wii U one. Like, who cares? Like, at least they're not doing like what happened to like me like 10 years ago with Twilight Princess, where it's like I'm waiting for the GameCube one, and then it's like
it's after.
And it's like, all right, here you go, buddy. End of December, that GameCube one. Like, luckily, I avoid spoilers all the time, and it's like, but man, what if you were just like, I'm gonna scroll on Twitter today, and somebody's like, did you know that Ganon's brother is Link in this game? And you're like, no,
Yeah. I avoided spoilers for like Final Fantasy 15, but I also don't have a PS4, so I don't have like reason to read up on that. But like I'm clearly too much involved with Nintendo to be able to avoid like anything. So
yeah.
But let's move on to some news.
Hey.
So some couple of quick fire interesting stuff. Netflix is going to get a Castlevania series. It sounds like it's going to be an animated series. No word if it's going to be like the one from that weird Nintendo show, but I don't know. It sounds like it'll be interesting. The people writing it and whatnot are hyping it up. I forget. They said they had some writer on it. I didn't look up his credentials or anything, but I don't know. It's pretty cool to hear that Netflix is going to have a video game show and maybe it'll be half decent.
The only thing I could really imagine being positive for me out of it, because I don't feel like I'm the target audience for it. I love Castlevania games, good ones anyway. But like, well, yeah, I guess not a lot of people go around saying they love the bad Castlevania games, but that they could maybe somehow make sense of Castlevania for the layperson, because I can't ever figure out like that. It took me a long time to think and realize that there's actually a timeline / story narrative to Castlevania that you're supposed to actually be able to follow. Because like I would just play them sporadically here or there and be like, oh yeah, here's some other Belmont dude or something, whatever. Who cares? Where's my whip? Like I want to kill some stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and then like listening to like a few different podcasts and reading other game journals. I'm like, wait, are you serious? There's a story? Like with continuity, and you're supposed to actually care which Belmont this is or something like that. Like, like it's not just like Zelda where it's like, I know they tacked on a timeline to Zelda and we're supposed to believe in it now. I know. But like, to me, I'm like, it's not just like Zelda where it's just like the same story again and again. Who cares? Like, it's awesome because you got a whip and you got an axe and you got like, throwing, you got a boomerang or whatever. So like, if I watch a series like that, it would probably be for that. I'd be like, tell me the story of Castlevania in a way I can understand it, where I'm not just like whipping like candles to get hearts,
Dude, I don't get it either. Honestly, I didn't even know that they were all continued till now. I was like, now I'm gonna like Google Wikipedia them. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like they're not in order. That the really confusing thing is it's just like Zelda. They're not in order.
But they don't even have numbers. Like, it's not like, oh, this is Castlevania 2. Like Resident Evil is pretty direct about it. Like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, like.
Right.
Well, they did have 0 in there, and then like Uno said, Claude Veronica and all these other things. So
yeah, but those were like side stories from like stuff that you would find in the game. Like Castlevania is like, I would never be like, oh shit, like I didn't know the GBA one was connected with the original. Like, you know what I mean? Or that's a remake. I thought maybe they're all the same. Like, I just kept thinking I always thought you were just Simon Belmont with like, like you said, whipping people because that's your hobby.
See, like I
You're
feel
a
better.
masochist.
It makes me feel better because like I felt really ignorant when I first started to catch on to it because I was like, no. Then I thought about it. I was like, okay, yeah, in Castlevania 3 on NES, okay, I recall that yes, there were new characters and they were different Belmonts. Like his name changed, but who cares? You know what I mean? I was like, that was like NES. Like any story was like, there's a bad guy, go get him! Exclamation point. You know what I mean? Like that's it. That's the whole story. Like,
Uno, the creator's gonna hate you. They're basing it off of Castlevania 3.
Oh, right on. Well, Castlevania 3 is a great one. It's really fun.
I haven't played them, but is that the one where they introduce Alucard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
I don't know why I knew that. Maybe I just watched enough of AVGN, but for some reason I knew
it's
that.
famous for that, so your knowledge is good. It's famous for that because in that era, if you can believe it or not, you guys probably were like still little sperms, but like in that era, like it was revolutionary because you could be different characters in the game, and it was just like your brain practically exploded because you were like, wait, not only can I be different characters, they have different powers, and he could turn into a bat, and you're like, that like breaks the game almost. When you're a kid and you're just like, I cannot believe I can fly as this character, whereas up to that point in Castlevania, you could only walk and have a really crappy jump. It's like, so yeah, like, I mean, three's widely regarded as the best of the originals. I kind of like the first one the best, but I can see an argument for 3. It's really hard, just like the first one, and I enjoy it a lot. So, but yeah, there's a story in Castlevania, and it's just like the Zelda timeline. You'd have to do a whole bunch of reading and like try not to roll your eyes too hard if you're like me to like get it. You just be like, so yeah, cool.
I think at least for Castlevania, the timeline is a lot more easier to grasp because they say like, oh, this is a descendant of this Belmont and this and that. Whereas Zelda, it's just like, I don't know, figure it out. We made it, and it has elements to like everything.
Yeah,
it's like what?
It's like, yo, this is
at least
like,
Castlevania's up front.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting because I don't remember the last time. I don't know, classic vampires have been represented. They had all these weird, stupid ones, but
yeah,
like that. Back to that, like actual gothic horror kind of. Like, that'll be interesting.
It's definitely got some promise. It's interesting to me too. Do we know when it's supposed to be coming? Is like probably years away, I'd imagine.
No, actually, I think they said it's coming halfway through 2017.
Oh wow, banging it out.
So it's like crazily close.
Interesting. Well, I'll be looking forward to that. We can maybe do a cast where we all watch an episode or two and review it. So that's interesting. Awesome.
Yeah. So moving on, Splatoon 2 is going to do the same thing as the original. They're going to have a test fire. So for a couple of days, you'll be able to, if you have the Switch, you'll be able to try out Splatoon 2 for like an hour at a time. It's at the end of March 24th to 26th. So that'll be cool. They said in Splatoon 2, they're also going to have online matches worldwide again. And I don't know if I like that or not because as Unoclay and I used to play quite often, if you play not even that late at night, if you play at like 10 o'clock at night, Eastern Standard Time, you'll have a lot of Japanese players and they can get pretty nuts.
Yeah.
So maybe I do want it exclusive.
Not terrible at Splatoon, it turns
Maybe
out.
you're just not good enough.
Well, Eat me.
Hey, that's racist
Missed-
against me, man. Like, no, it's true. They're sick. You'd get bowled over a lot of times. You just feel in this lobby, and you're the only person with like English character name. It was
Yeah,
like
the only one that's readable.
It was very noticeable. You were like, wow, the rumors are true. Splatoon is big in Japan. Like, it was yeah, not the case with like other games you play on Wii U where you would notice anything drastic like that. You'd see it a little bit in Mario Kart sometimes, and you'd see it a little bit like in other games. But this was like noticeable. You were just like, wow, I am literally the only person with a name I can pronounce on this screen or whatever. So
or read. You're like, what is this letter?
Yeah, I'm down with it because it pushes you to be better, and I like, not to get too sidetracked, like the ranking system I always think in Splatoon was really, really well implemented. Like I whether or not I'm pleased with my performance, I am a solid B, almost a B plus permanently, and the way it like quickly ranks you down when you kind of get bumped into the A minus bracket, for instance, if you're me, like you just get bumped back, and then all of a sudden you're good again. You're like, oh, okay, well, these are people that are exactly at my level, and they had it like finely tuned enough that for me anyway, it worked really well. Not the case like for me in Smash, like where for whatever reason I'm always in these lobbies where I'm just getting knocked around like so brutally, and I'm like, wow, I feel like the difficulty curve of the way they allot you to a lobby is different, or
they did
or
it.
I'm really bad.
They did it like legitimately wrong in Smash.
It feels like that to me, but you guys had explained before. Maybe it was because I ranked up my like achievements so high.
Basically, what they did in Smash is any mode you play will get you points awarded to some like global score, and then they use that score as ranking, which makes no sense because if someone's playing like all of the modes and all like 50 plus characters, like you'll get a lot of points, but that doesn't mean you're good.
Which I did.
Spread across everything. Yeah, same.
Like, I finish everything with every character, but I'm not very good. I'm only very, 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 very average at best, and it's just like, whatever. Like, yeah, that's a lesson learned, and Splatoon doesn't have a mechanism like that. So it's just like, even if you finish the single player campaign, it didn't like rank you any higher as far as I could tell. I was just like, whatever. I got more, I got more experience, but that's it, so. Yeah. But anyway, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So speaking of Splatoon, actually, they detailed some of the voice chat details. The smartphone app is going to use or will support voice chat in lobbies, so you can add your friends, I guess, through your Nintendo accounts, and it also says through social media, which is weird. And I think some more details came out about that today, at least with the regular Switch. It seems like you're going to be able to add people from Facebook and Twitter, I think, which is weird. I guess it'll just push them a notification saying like, hey, do you want to come on or something? I don't know. It's weird. It reminds me of Facebook, where you'll have like notifications from random games people downloaded on their apps or whatever. Voice chat is limited to friends only, so no talking to random people, which is weird because like you should be able to talk to people in your team. Otherwise it defeats the purpose of voice chat kind of, because it's a team-based game. In a private match, you'll be able to talk to friends only, and then you can talk to everyone. Sorry. Private match, you talk to friends only. Normal match, you can talk to everyone, but once the match starts, you only talk to your team. But yeah, I don't know. It's not really clear how this works, if it's you only talk to your friends, but then you can talk to people before the match starts, and it's really weird. I hope they go over this voice chat stuff regarding the Switch like before it comes out and whatnot, because it's kind of confusing.
I mean, I don't even know if they'll need to, because like what games at launch will use it,
Nothing at launch, but I mean, they'll probably do some video before launch, I guess, to promote the Switch and be like, hey, remember it's coming out in like 3 days or something. So maybe they'll just put more details. I'm sure there's other things they want to announce. We'll see. Oh yeah, Nintendo commented on why they have a weak launch lineup, which I thought was kind of funny. They said they want a steady release of games. Actually, no, it's not funny. It's kind of smart. They want a steady release of games to avoid having, gaps between games, again, like the Wii U. And this is so they can keep up momentum and interest in the console. So I'm guessing some of these games, they actually are kind of prepared, but they're just spreading them out across several months so that people don't just buy it on launch and it's like, cool, I have a couple of games. When's something else coming out? It's like, not for like 7 months. So that's probably why you're seeing like not a lot at launch, but you'll have whatchamacallit, Mario Kart in April, and then whatever ARMS the next month, and Splatoon the next month, and then things like that.
I just
smart, but
I don't buy it. I mean, I hate to be the hater again, but I don't buy it. I think they didn't have enough stuff ready, and they had the choice of. I mean, like they had the choice of like just admitting they don't have enough stuff ready, or rushing stuff badly. Or the third problem would be that like if there's some truth to what they're saying, like they could be telling a white lie here and saying like, oh well, we want to spread this stuff out, like because the problem being that if they don't, then there would literally be nothing for like a year, coming from them, or until Mario Galaxy. So they're kind of like making a bad thing sound good. I mean, I guess that's what they're kind of saying, but it's like it strikes me as like, I don't know, a little transparent to me. I'm like, good grief. I mean, I guess it's a good PR story, but
yeah, it could definitely easily be a good PR spin. Like, we don't have it ready, but no, that was on purpose by design.
Yeah, we basically do have it ready. We're just gonna spread it out.
Yeah.
We don't want you to eat all your candy right away, like, so you have to wait a few days. So
yeah,
I don't know, whatever. I'm sour with the whole thing, but like, I've been kind of surprised actually, like listening to other commentators and reading other views. I've been weirdly surprised to see that some people don't seem to think the launch is as deadly weak as I've been feeling. So I guess I'm like,
and you call yourself an apologist.
Well, no, I mean, like I was surprised because I thought, oh yeah, that's what other people are going to be saying about this when I start getting around on the nets, and it's like, no, it's almost like that PR. It depends, who you read, who you listen to, but that PR spin has worked to some degree for some people, some commentators, like because it's acknowledged there aren't a lot of games, but not everyone's as like freaked out as I feel I am. I guess sometimes, at least I was surprised to find out there's other opinions about it. Where for me, it was like night and day. I was excited until this, and then I'm like, this sucks. Like, this is the worst thing. This is the worst thing I've ever seen you do. Come out with like 4 launch day games, like for your brand new system. Like, this is trying to fail, at a level to me. But I've ranted about it before, so
yeah. I mean, launch isn't great, but it's also good to see that they have stuff planned out for the next couple of months versus. I don't remember the Wii U's launch, but I'm pretty sure they had a bunch at launch or launch day, but then the next couple of months, I'm pretty sure were like pretty dry. So, I mean, at least this is something, I guess. At least if they, like, it seems like they have a game every month up until E3, and then E3, maybe they'll be like, hey, here's what's coming out across the next couple of months. So they could be keeping up that momentum, so that would be good, definitely. And I made a list before showing like, what games could be coming out at one point. Maybe July they don't have anything, but August they have like Pikmin 4, and September they have like Pokemon or this or that or whatever. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't like to say wait to E3, but they have stuff lined up so far, and then E3 they might announce some more things. So we'll play it by ear.
Wait till E3. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
You hate it, but you have to say it.
Kinda, yeah. One thing I wanted to bring back from last week before we talk about 3DS games and whatnot is the Switch won't have an internet browser at launch. And they said their reason is to focus on making a game console. I think that's a bit of a poor excuse. It shouldn't, like, I'm not a developer, so I'm not going to say, yeah, you could whip up a browser easily, but it seems like one of the most basic features you could add to a console. I felt like bringing it up because Unoclay went on a rant last week, and that was great, so I want to hear him go on a rant again.
Yeah, who cares if there's no browser? Yeah, I go home and go, you know what? Forget this computer I'm right next to. I need a PS4 browser, 3DS browser. That's some freaking complaining ass. I want to be a douchebag. Gonna complain about anything Nintendo does. Bullshit. That's what I'm saying.
Well, then allow me to complain. Because come on, Mike, you're the king of complaining, and I want to get some people on board. It just like, I mean, you've said it. Like you've said it, Matt. Like what more can I rant about? Like people's refrigerators have internet browsers on them. Like I mean, like get real. Get real. This is it's as nuts. If you want me to rant, I can. Like I mean, like this is crazy. Like it's the same as not having Netflix. Like now let's say I wanted to replace my Wii U in my living room with my Switch. Well, I can't because that's how I browse the internet and that's how I look at Netflix on my television. So I don't care. Let me say that to be clear. I don't care about keeping my Wii U connected. I was gonna anyway. I'm not one of those people that gets a new system and unplugs the old. I have systems. I have five video game systems sitting directly in front of me here connected to a television. I am not even exaggerating in the slightest. And yet it just seems like such a dumbass like move in a market where how much does it really cost to include a small web browser, you know, one of those chintzy ones like the Opera browser or whatever on there. I don't know. I'm not in the business of knowing how much that costs. Maybe it is a cost. I feel like this is a white lie type situation. Like for some reason it's not happening, but then they say things to explain it like, oh, it's a dedicated game console. We don't want people to be confused or whatever. Like confused. You don't want people to be confused or like you want to make sure they understand it's a game console. I think they get it. I think they know that Nintendo is selling them a game console, not a GPS. Or, you know, like
I don't know, man. I can't wait till I walk in the store and somebody's like, "Yo, what is that GPS?" I'm like, "Nah, bro, it's Nintendo." They'd be like, "What? That's one of the Nintendies, man."
I just, you know, I don't like to be snarky. I don't like to throw stones just for the sake of sounding cool. You know, I think that's a bad way to review stuff. This just doesn't make sense because it doesn't seem like it costs them much effort to do it. Mm-hmm. And why wouldn't you want people to have a web browser and say, yeah, check out my new Switch. When I'm on Wi-Fi, I can go on the internet. I mean, that might be the first thing someone asks me. And then I sound like an idiot. Then I'm like, yeah, guys. Yeah, I'm like the girl in the Switch launch promo that like is
Karen.
Like to show off. Like I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go over on the other roof and I'm gonna totally spoil this awesome roof party because I'm like, yo guys, let's play video games at the awesome roof party. But cool. I'm gonna do it. And I show up there and someone's like, this is awesome. I love playing this 1-2 switch game. It seems really cool. Could we quick look up like the name of that actor in that movie that we're all talking about while we're standing here? No. No, we can't.
Yo, you have a phone. All right.
No, they're like, Clay, we know you don't have a smartphone, but we know you can finally look things up on your Nintendo's Wii Switch thing there. And it's like, no, I actually can't. Could one of you guys pull out your phone and look up like that actor's name? Like, because this thing, although neat, can't go on the internet. I know that sounds insane. It costs $300 and it can't go on the internet. All right.
To be fair, the roof party didn't look that interesting, but yeah, it's
dude, it's a roof party with girls.
They weren't doing anything. But
parties like that where everyone's like psyched about playing a video game on a roof. Like, where are these parties? I want to be at them. Like, this is awesome. But I just say it to yourself out loud and see how insane you sound.
Yeah.
No, this $300 digital device that indeed does have Wi-Fi connections to play video games on the internet, it can't browse the internet. Like it's. Did I rant enough?
Yes.
It's just funny. You're like, it's $300. It can't go on the internet. But you know what? Nintendo, to defend them, is like, bruh, we're gonna integrate our smartphone social media aspect because, like, even though old man Clay don't got no smartphone,
I hear you.
7-year-old Stacy's got, crying to her mom and dad that she needs her iPhone 8, all right, and they're gonna give it to her because that kids these days are freaking terrible.
Kids these days,
I
hear you.
To think of it in another perspective, they are expecting you to use a smartphone to be able to use voice chat. So in that case, they're probably like, well, if we're already telling you to use it for a smartphone for voice chat, we might as well tell you to go there for internet too.
But it sounds like you're only trying to prove my point. I think you are.
I am.
how nuts is that?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we all agree that's like nuts. Like,
Well, I think what makes the weirdest thing is that this is basically like a tablet, and it's like it doesn't have the functionalities of a tablet. It's really weird.
It's all right, Clay. You're not missing out on anything on the Nintendo app. I'm sure that if you give me your phone number, we can do this thing where I call you on the phone.
No, right?
And we talk. Like, even on your dumb phone, it'll still work.
I know.
No, that's dumb. That's dumb,
Yeah.
Eli.
I know.
Nobody calls these days. They need a voice chat, bro. All right.
Yeah, you're right. You need a special. Nobody calls anymore. That's not cool. You need a special Nintendo licensed voice app to talk with other
Yo, don't
people.
call me loser. You download the Nintendo app and get my username. And then...
Can you imagine
Oh my
being
gosh.
like? Would you judge someone if you're just like on a train or something, and someone's just talking to someone else through the Nintendo app? I think I would actually judge them. Like, instead of like they're not playing a game or anything.
How much more of a douche are they compared to people with Bluetooth headsets in public? That's the barometer.
No,
we
those
gotta-
people are crazy, all right? Because you're like, why is this guy talking to his cereal? And then he turns around, you're like, okay.
I hate to point it out, but you guys almost sound like you're making reference to the super awesome Lost episode from last week when we talked about getting judged for playing your video game in real life.
I forgot.
Yeah, I forgot that did happen. But, yo, Matt, get that MP3.
It's too late.
No.
All right. So you got a rant. There you go. Delivered. I hope I did good.
Awesome. Better than last week. Confirmed. Period. So let's move on to the 3DS segment of the show. So, whatchamacallit? Kimishima was saying there's going to be multiple unannounced 3DS games from popular franchises coming. And I thought it'd be interesting. I decided to look up, okay, well, what franchises haven't come on here? And basically everything has come on the 3DS. Even if it's a spin-off, like let's say Metroid Prime Federation Force, basically every major franchise they have has been represented on the 3DS, which is kind of ridiculous. So I thought it'd be interesting.
That wasn't a real Metroid game, dude.
No, it wasn't, but the IP at least appeared on the console in some form. And 64 didn't even have one. So, but regardless, I thought it'd be fun to see what franchises would you want to see appear on the 3DS, whether it's something that hasn't already appeared, what few there are, or would you rather have a sequel to something?
Can I just have them forget about the 3DS and just make Switch games? Or
Well, we'd all want that.
No,
but
Matt, I don't want
that's
to.
not their
Eli,
plan.
I don't want to hear how you want your Animal Crossing New Leaf Village or some Naruto New Leaf.
You're right.
Village.
Animal Crossing New Leaf Village City Folk.
Okay.
It's mixed with Naruto, Mike.
Your Hidden Leaf Village. Naruto
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
Shit, right?
Oh my gosh. It's back to the Naruto Mickey thing again. Naruto
I don't know.
Animal
To be completely honest, like I could see another Kirby game, even though we've already gotten 2 other ones. Other than that, like I'm just thinking, and I'm like, I don't know. I'll play any RPGs you give me. You know, I don't think there's anything specific. Give me a Golden Sun game. I don't know.
I forgot that is your thing.
They also showed off a Cooking Mama game, which is weird. I don't know if that counts as far as his credentials, but a day later they showed off Cooking Mama. I'm like, why is this thing even still here? It's like new grounds level of quality game. It's a Flash game. It's a Flash game level of quality. It's ridiculous. Who's buying these anymore?
Hey, man, I'll pay $60 for Flash games.
I have to second like what Eli was saying. I mean, I have some other answers, but to chime in, like I don't play a lot of RPGs, but like they're a good fit for a portable, especially classic RPGs. They're a good fit for a portable system. So even I would consider. I never got around to getting Chrono Trigger for 3DS, but games like that, would be a good fit. So they could keep those coming. Hopefully, maybe even port some stuff.
Nice. Mike, did you have any ideas?
Yeah, I'd like maybe a WarioWare game that wasn't the.
Oh yes.
Like
yeah,
I like WarioWare and GBA. I think though that game I liked WarioWare for the Wii also. Smooth Moves. I mean, both of those games are awesome. Like Switch, like seems like a shittier WarioWare. Like WarioWare is just it's just a great game. I mean, I think it's a great franchise. It's underrated franchise. I mean, Wario Land, him as a platformer is not too bad, but there's something about like the GBA WarioWare and the smooth moves that it's such a fun game, like solo or with friends. I can see that. And then my game that's never gonna happen for sequel will probably be The World Ends with You.
Oh man,
I thought the Switch was the Wii U was a good system for it. I was like, there's two screens. I can look both. They're touchscreen, etc. It'd be kind of cool. I mean, like I said, they were in Kingdom Hearts 3D. If anyone didn't remember 5 years ago, you can remember now. Yeah, so I was like, maybe Square Enix will do something with that. I doubt it, but that's kind of like my dream sequel. It's still a good system for it. Like I said, two screens, still touching stuff.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
There were I played a lot of that The World Ends with You game. Like it was pretty good. It's definitely not my thing, but I know
it's a very unique game. I mean, I never played any game like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what really stands out about it.
A lot of people love that game. I'm surprised it never got a sequel, but who knows? Maybe eventually.
It's got a very high rating too. It's like a 9.1 out of 10 for like a lot of sites. And I mean, that's pretty good for no-name RPGs, because most of the time they're like, oh, this random RPG is 40 hours of you just spamming the A button and then waiting till it ends, and I'm like, oh, okay. It just kind of came out of nowhere and then it just faded back into oblivion.
Yeah, I'm shocked when you bring it up because it's so popular, almost it's like a gamer's game. And you hear it referenced like this all the time and you're like, so why did that go away? Maybe there's a story there that we don't know, but yeah.
Maybe it could be like a fake Family Guy situation. Maybe nobody bought it initially, and they're like, "Well, this game's deemed a failure." And then after that, everyone kind of bought it, maybe secondhand or or stuff like that. And don't forget, 3DS was pretty. I mean, DS was one of the easier pirates. Back in the pirate Google. DS was really easy. You just buy an R4, and PSPs were so easy because you were playing games from GBA down. So you were playing your Super Nintendos and your Sega Genesis and GBAs on your PSP, and you're like, why the hell would I buy any other Game Boy thing from that? And then you get a 3DS and an R4, and you're like, why would you get a DS and an R4? And you're like, why the hell would I buy a DS game?
Yeah.
That's what it was like. That's why they went region lock for a long time because of the DS and how much piracy there was.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll Google around and see if I can come up with an answer and send it to you guys later. Cause that's I don't know. Why wouldn't a game with that kind of pedigree exist? That strikes me as odd. Cause it was such a big deal. And I can't imagine a game like that's impossible to make. It's come on, it's an RPG.
I mean, it would be the 10-year anniversary this year when it came out.
Oh my God. That makes me so sad.
Yeah. Wow. That feels
it
like
makes you feel old, Eli. But you know what the other thing is though? The funny thing is, I just Googled, right? I just typed in "The World Ends," so it comes in "The World Ends with You" is number 1. Number 2, "The World Ends with You" ROM. Evidence my point. Okay, and then number 3 is number 2. But you see, this is people looking up the wrong. It was just so easy.
Yeah, it's terribly disappointing too, because the niche games are probably the most shafted by the fact that piracy was running rampant. Mario Kart. Parents went out and they didn't know how to pirate Mario Kart, but the people that were interested in games like all the Elite Beat Agents or whatever these specialized titles. They were definitely a lot more tech savvy.
Yeah, damn, I forgot about Elite Beat. Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, they probably got shafted from piracy.
It's real unfortunate. I never pirated any DS games, but I definitely knew a lot of,
Well, the thing is though, because pirating it was also a fake voice for the people. You got to look at it in the sense for look at me. I wanted Ace Attorney Investigations 2, and I wanted Mother 3. The only way I'm getting that is I have to pirate them, it's just so weird because Nintendo's no, no sales. So now those people, like you said, gamers only really look up these niche games, and like Clay said it before, it's a gamer's game. And then now you look at stuff like that. I love the Phoenix Wright series, and it's they think about the one that's out for the 3DS. I'm never gonna get, until there's an English patch or something, because I'm never going to go to play the, I forgot what they call it. Just think Phoenix Wright back in the past. There's 2 of them already. They already announced the sequel, and it's never going to come here to America. Kind of thing.
I was Googling around while you guys were talking, and there is the director has acknowledged that he knows there's a big following for The World Ends With You. And he says he's aware making a sequel will be no easy task, but the possible new entry in the series isn't completely ruled out. He wants to ensure that he would have the staff and team needed to deliver a product equal to the original game. And that was on a website called Gematsu that I'm not familiar with, but it's cited a couple places. So it looks legit. So
but don't forget, Nomura is really busy. He had Final Fantasy 15, he's got Kingdom Hearts 3, right. Final Fantasy 7, the anniversary. Like my man is making like the elite RPGs. So that's another thing too. Like, it is like there's two guys who make it, but I mean, Nomura is a big part in a lot of RPGs that we all look forward to.
Yep. Yeah. That's what the commentators like commenting on his quote exactly are saying. You nailed it. Like they're saying the same thing. Like he would need to pull out of these humongous franchises to do this tiny game. Relatively tiny game. So it's
that's like a Kojima thing. You know what I mean? Like Kojima, if Nomura was Kojima in this incident, like we would have a sequel because he'd be like, "Yo, I love that. We'll definitely do that." But at the same time, I mean, think about it. This is your job. Wouldn't you want to make the big buck kind of thing?
Yeah, you have contracts to fulfill. That's it. So
yeah, you got to look at it like realistically a bit. But you know what? 3 could be the last of Kingdom Hearts. It should be. I've heard it's not going to be because why would they throw away a $1 billion franchise? But Nomura might be done with 3. So once 3's out, there could be a chance. So.
Yep. So yeah, most of the someone's typing to me. I haven't talked yet, Unoclay. You shut up. Just kidding. Most of the big ones have been out. Eli said, Mike mentioned Wario. Eli mentioned Golden Sun. Punch-Out might be possible. I think the games that they're going to release on the 3DS are probably going to be smaller. Like the Pikmin game isn't like a full 3D world, probably because it wouldn't really work well, but also because I think it's just something they can kind of poop out somewhat quickly and easily rather than put all their development into it.
I hope they don't poop it out. I want to play it.
They're going to poop it out. I would like Custom Robo, but I'm pretty sure that series is dead. Chibi Robo, maybe, because they did a couple on the DS, and I'm pretty sure they weren't like huge, but like big enough. So that's probably possible. But one I've always thought they should have done on the 3DS that would have been amazing was F-Zero. Now, I know a lot of people are, maybe it's a dead franchise or whatever, or maybe, they want on Switch instead. But I always thought it would be cool to have F-Zero on the 3DS just because of the 3D. And a couple of the games we've already seen them run at 60 frames per second, like Smash Brothers, which has a lot of stuff going on it, and Link Between Worlds and whatnot. So I think it would just be really cool to have this 60 frames per second, like F-Zero crazy racing game that's in 3D and be able to see the depth and all the special effects and explosions and all that stuff.
I'm not a huge F-Zero fan, but I'd be down with that. When you say about the 3D, I'm like that makes sense. Like I would shell out a certain amount of money for it. I don't know how much. Racing games, it's like I identified with a lot when I think there was a quote a while ago that they said they just don't know what to do with the series. Like what and that's why there isn't a new one. And so I get that kind of. It's like I got that Fast Racing Neo game for Wii U, and it's great. I played probably like 4 or 5 hours. It's very fast. It's a really cool game. Graphics are great. But then I get bored of it because I'm like, it's just driving a fast spaceship, and I don't mean
it doesn't have the zest of the F-Zero characters and franchise. I like the little story mode.
I appreciated that part of F-Zero because I only ever played the very first one on Super Nintendo. So
you didn't play the GameCube one?
Not yet.
Okay, that's a good game. It's actually it's considered one of the more difficult games.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard it's like impossibly difficult, but in a good way. Like it's just a great.
Yeah, it's like fun difficult because I didn't realize it was difficult until I was like when I was like, all right, I want to do more. Like I want to play other characters' stories, and I was like, holy crap! Like you can make like a little turn and get wrecked, and you're like, damn, dude, like I need to take a break, kind of thing, like not like let me restart this thing. It's like, all right. if I'm gonna come back, I need to go like full race mode, come in with a suit and like a helmet, and just be like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, Matt.
And I think it would be something easy they could put out too. Like it wouldn't take a lot of work because it's a racing game.
Not Nintendo's way though, bro. Like I mean, you say that's not their way. That's the problem. Like if it's going to be a flagship series with like their name behind it, it's going to be 2 years in development, and it's going to, you know what I mean? They're going to put it through multiple levels of testing and redesigning and stuff like that. And that's kind of the bane of Nintendo. Sometimes they're not going to poop one out. You know, they're gonna.
I just mean like it's a game. I just mean it's a game that doesn't have like so much content in it that it would not overwhelm them, but take up too much of their time. Like I don't think they're going to put a giant RPG on. Well, they do have one coming, but they started that a couple of years ago. But like I don't think they're going to do really another RPG, but like a platformer or a racing game like doesn't have a gigantic amount of content in it. It's something they can put out, I think, relatively soon enough with a small amount of people.
I would support it, the 3D alone, because like I know some people see 3D as gimmicky, but like when used in certain types of games, it's awesome. And that's the kind of game where I can totally imagine it, where I'm like, oh yeah, like racing, that makes sense, like 3D, you know, as long as they don't try to stick gyro controls and 3D in there, and then you're like,
that's not gonna work.
Eyes are breaking, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. That's a good call. I hadn't thought of that, because I mean, I guess F-Zero isn't represented on 3DS other than like Captain Falcon and the ports of the older games, right? I mean, there's no F-Zero otherwise on 3DS, so it's not really represented in any legitimate way or any modern way. So
yeah,
interesting.
You said you had an idea.
I mean, this is an interesting topic to me because I was thinking about it. You said about this today, we should think of ideas for this. I have a lot. I mean, like
They're all like one or two, because we do have one more question.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like I just like when you asked me, I was like, God, there's a lot of things they could still do with this system that I would be willing to spend money on. I mean, I could just rattle them off, like a good Castlevania game, not that nonsense we got like 2 years ago, like one of the ones that was on DS. Just make the same game again, for God's sake, on you know, like with the like the same play mechanics. Like, I mean, Star Fox, for God's sake, like Star Fox failed on Wii U, but I mean, like they could bring Star Fox for a lower cost and a little bit like lower development like input to 3DS, because I really enjoyed the DS Star Fox, and maybe it'd be a better fit just to keep that series as a portable game for now, because it's not ambitious or whatever enough for people to want to play it on a big full home console. I mean, Resident Evil, I loved the Revelations game. I was furious when we weren't going to get more Resident Evil like on 3DS, because that Revelations game was awesome. Super fun game to have on the go. Like really neat to have a decent portable horror game. You know, the Metal Gear port. I looked at my library earlier when you asked me this, and I thought there's so many games in this system we could have done more with. Like Metal Gear 3 on 3DS, it's clunky and it's a little difficult to play because the way the controls have to be mapped and stuff. Yeah. But it's fun. I had never played that game before, so maybe it's just the fact that Metal Gear 3 is an amazing game. But I was like, this is awesome. I have like an amazing full-fledged, you know, adventure action stealth game on the go. I mean, this is the stuff where the Switch could really revolutionize everything if we can get stuff like that on the go, on the regular, like on that system, you know, where it's not like, things like Metal Gear are only on a home console, you know, and you can't possibly play something like that on the go.
But Metal Gear 3 is considered the best one. I only played one, but
I sense that when I play it. It's so good. I mean, it just jumps out at me as like, this game is amazing, like on every level, storytelling, just the depth of the play action, like the characters, the narrative. I mean, I'm telling an old story here. I had never played it, so my eyes were like opened, because I had only ever played original Metal Gear on NES, the ones people considered non-legitimate, you know,
those fake ass things. I mean,
exactly. You Yeah, I had never even played Solid 1, and then I went back and played Solid 1, and I have a copy of Solid 2 for my PlayStation 2 that I've never played yet sitting here.
Two is considered the worst. I only beat 1, and I played a little bit of 2, but everyone tells me to play 3, like every gearhead, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, and now that you watched it, make sure you watch Metal Gear Awesome by Ego Raptor.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of Newgrounds.
Like, no, Clay, I really recommend Metal Gear Awesome 1 and 2 from Ego Raptor.
All right, I'll check it out.
All right.
But wrap up, like if I could pick, like there's like a tie for me. I mean, my all-time pick, like kind of like you guys were doing, or like Mike might have said, my all-time pick, there's a game called Henry Hatsworth that was on DS that was like,
Oh yeah.
it's the most awesome. It's my officially favorite DS game. It was a puzzle platformer game. Nothing like it on the system. It's like if you mix Tetris with like a platforming, like Shovel Knight-y type game. It is funny. It is amazing. It's got LucasArts style humor, and that it'll never happen because the guy that basically made it left the company, and the IP probably belongs to the company that produced it. So he can't make it. He's one of the guys that works with the guys now who made World of Goo and stuff like that. But Henry Hatsworth would have been the sequel I'd get, and the game that never made sense to me, finally, to wrap up, that I wish they would bring it to 3DS. Why in the world did you put Earthbound Zero on console? It's kind of looping back to where Eli started this conversation, like saying like RPGs. Why in the world would you put a clunky, kind of half-finished RPG that everybody kind of wants to play, but it's like classic JRPG, like really, really classic, like style RPG kind of game. Why would you put that on a console where I have to sit in my living room and play this game? Like, this is insane. Like, this game should be on my 3DS, and I just wish they would support the 3DS through the next year or so for the foreseeable future by bringing stuff like that maybe over. Like, maybe stuff they have done already like that, where they could just bring it over. You know, it's already on Wii U. Okay, well, let's just drop it over to 3DS and see if we can make some money off it over there. Okay, cool. I will buy it. Because they brought Earthbound to 3DS. Why was Earthbound Zero on the Wii U? Was it because they needed something to fill out the lineup for Wii U to sell you something? I suspect that's the only reason why. And I'm like, okay, well, that ship has sailed. So it's time to let the rest of us play it. You know, like, 'cause I am never going to sit on my couch and play a game like that. Never.
Yeah. They've been weird with that. They've gone like back and forth with what console gets what SNES game and whatnot. So I think it's just kind of a mess that they're just like, whatever, we'll just throw it on one of them and see what happens. But you're talking about supporting through 2018, and they actually said, let me bring it up here. They plan to have some new games at least until 2018. Do you think they'll continue making 3DS games if the 3DS is still selling well in 2018, or do you think they're going to cut it off at some point? I guess the question is, should they keep supporting it if it's still selling, or should they cut it off so they're not cannibalizing the Switch?
So I think that Nintendo itself will not be releasing games, but I think it's possible that a third party like Atlas probably could. Their Netrian Odyssey game or something like Shin Megami Tensei or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised, but I think at one point Nintendo's got to be like, all right, every game we develop with 3DS is one less one for the Switch, and we can't have a drought at any point when we don't have any third party games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with Eli on that. I mean, why are they going to make 3DS games when they want everyone to kind of move to the Switch? They should just slowly phase them out. You know, like, the thing is, like I said before, I mean, I said it last week. I was like, everyone's like, the Switch is 300, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you had some people who bought 3DS when, like, the main game was, like, Street Fighter 4, okay?
Steel Diver, bro.
Steel Diver.
Okay. Yeah, Steel Diver and what's that crappy Pilot Wings freaking.
Yeah.
Okay, those are your big three, and like people are like, oh yeah, they bought a 3DS for $250 and they're gonna complain about the Switch. So I mean, and $250 was worth more 5 years ago than it is now. So it is what it is, man. Just gotta slowly move over. Get with L times.
I mean, I generally think, like, I mean, it almost bridges nicely with what we were just talking about the whole Earthbound Zero, put one game over here, one game over here. Yes, the Switch is the future where they don't have to make that decision, and that's good. because that means more games you can play regardless of like your allegiance to a handheld or the console. But for me, I kind of love my 3DS, and Mike said something on the Lost episode. Got to reference it one more time. Like that. Like, you know, everyone is gonna like. Am I gonna take this $300 Switch on the train with me the first month? I don't know that I am. Like, honestly, I'm gonna have to really consider that once I have it in my hands and see. Like, I'm not sure. Like, am I gonna be carrying this around? I'm pretty sure I won't be treating it the way I treat my 3DS.
Yeah.
Like, where I just throw it in my backpack, like, because it's a clamshell and it's like nice and contained and it's pretty durable. I'm gonna, like, at least for the immediate time, probably treat it pretty nice and probably pretty much keep it at home and use it like a console. Whereas, so then that does occur to me, oh, I want my 3DS to still be supported. I still, you know, I was on a trip this weekend in New York, and I was looking around in the 3DS store before I left thinking, should I get a new game? And I'll be honest, I couldn't really find anything I wanted to get. Like, I was kind of like, well, there's some stuff I could get, but I have at least 5 or 6 games on there, like, that I haven't finished yet that I should put some more time into. The side note, I'm 4 levels away from finishing 1001 Spikes. And if you think you've played hard games, try and get that far. So get back. But I'm 4 levels from the end, from what I can tell. I cannot believe it. And now it's just insane. I spent 110 lives on one level the other day. But yeah, like 3DS, like I at least, like, kind of like I was saying before, it would be great if they could just port stuff. Like, that would be great for me. Like, I don't know what I want, you know, but drop some stuff there that's not hard to get me, you know, like that. It's not going to take away development time of any significance from stuff for the Switch, which should be where you're putting your efforts. But I mean, even if it's GBA stuff, even if it's you know, DS stuff, like, just give us things to, like, pay a few bucks for, download, and keep that system viable. Because I really love my 3DS. I'm not looking forward to it going away. I'm certainly not looking forward to having to carry around a carrying case for my precious golden goose, or whatever Mike called it in the Lost episode.
I'm telling you. And then after like 2-3 months, when you accidentally get one scratch, it's the most minute, smallest thing of all time that only you would notice. All right. Then you're gonna be like, oh, it's officially crap now, and then you can carry it around with no remorse. But yo, it's the golden egg thing. Trust me, man. Even when you get even an old, just say you bought a new car, even if it was a used old car, you're like, it's your new car. You're like, oh, my baby, I can't do anything to you, you know. And then
It's
like,
rusted.
Then like 30 days later, and you're like, a whole month goes by, you used it enough, and you're like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have that new effect anymore. And you're gonna switch. Then you realize you're carrying your Switch to your friend's house before you know it.
Yeah.
One-handed, walking on the sidewalk with the pavement. Like, it's
dude,
fine.
I just started doing that with my Surface Pro 4. Like, I freaking got it. I was like, oh my god, I love you. Never leave my house. Then I was like, wait a minute. The point of me getting this was to move, you know, use it at other people's houses, and when I need to do some stuff on the go. Then I started carrying it around. I got a little case for it. You know, I'm like, oh, this is a lot better. Like, this is what I wanted to use it for. You know what I mean? Like, it took me like 3 weeks to do it, but I finally did it. And, you know, I was happy about it. I think it's gonna be the same thing for the Switch. Like, but don't forget, I also said that there's some games that deserve to be played at home, like Zelda. Like, that's gonna be a game, you know yourself, that you're only gonna play in your house. Like, you are not playing that on the go or anywhere. You know, like, but Mario Kart 8, you're gonna play that anywhere. You know what I mean? Or Bomberman, you're gonna play that anywhere. Like, games like Mario,
multiplayer games.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey, you're gonna be like, well, freaking, I'm not gonna play this. It's like I want to experience every moment of this great game at my house, sitting down. You know? Yeah.
To add a point before we wrap this up about going back to 3DS again, this could just easily be a PR move saying, no, people are still buying 3DSs. We'll say that, you know, there's still games coming. We just won't say like what kind of games they are. Now they did say they have unannounced popular franchise games coming, but at the same point, you know, when you look at it, it's like Fire Emblem Warriors. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't take them that long to develop. I think the Hyrule Warriors they developed in like a year or something, so not crazy. And then they just keep making DLC for it afterwards. So there's that. And then the Pikmin game. It's a Pikmin game, but it's technically a side scroller, so there's not as much going on there. So I think they're trying to slowly fade it out by, we'll put a couple of games on it, but you know, we won't put that much effort into it. You're not going to see any big games coming out for it. Maybe one or two. There's that other Fire Emblem game coming, but that's probably going to be like the last huge game coming. Yeah, I think they're just going to slow it down. They'll release a couple of things, but slowly fade it out and move over to Switch.
That would be their ideal situation. There's always that chance that in the business meetings that they're like, this is a pipeline of money. We just had a Christmas season where this was one of the hot toys. Like, I mean, get that through our heads. That's insane. The 3DS was like sold out everywhere this Christmas. And Pokemon Sun, what is it? Sun and Moon, the current ones, like were, you know, the hot game, you know, and it's just like, or one of the hot games, you know, so it's like they would be remiss to not be conscious of that as like a door they need to keep open, whether or not they want to for now. So that's why you get the like gray area messaging. That's like, yeah, we're going to support it. No specifics. We're going to support it because if we say no, well, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, then everyone will just stop buying it.
And we don't exactly know what or how we're going to support it. But what if this Switch thing don't do what we want it to do? Well, we better keep that door open. We can't go back on it, you know, and like cancel all the stuff for 3DS, you know. So, I mean, the smartest thing they could do is the thing they won't do, which would be like, any indie game possible that they could get on 3DS, they just make it into like their Steam platform, you know, like they're just like anything, like make any deal they can to get like indie games that, and then bring them to both Switch and 3DS at the same time, you know, anything viable, anything small, and just like pile on with that, you know. So it's like, look, you're not getting Nintendo first party stuff, but your 3DS still has games on it, you know, and at the same time, so the people who own the Switch don't feel gypped. Like, wait a second, why is the 3DS getting all these games that we're not getting over here? You know, just like give them to both, let the consumer make up their mind. It's not like you buy an iPhone 7 and you can't buy the apps that were on the iPhone 6, you know, or whatever, you know, whatever analogy you want to use. Like, it's like you can still get them on both. People are going to upgrade when they're going to upgrade, you know, and don't make them feel like trapped either direction. But they won't do that. Maybe there's technical reasons, maybe there's contractual reasons, who knows? But it's just a thought, because I would like to have my cake and eat it too. I just feel like, it's most likely going to be pretty dry over on 3DS because it's already getting dry, you know. So it's unlikely it's going to change.
From the way they talk about it, it sounds like the way of how they coexist. It sounds like, this will be a good thing for kids to pick up, but you know, they basically said like there's so much there already that they probably don't have a need to continue supporting it because there's so much there that people either can buy or continue to buy. It's already like $100 or whatever it is. So it's like a really low entry price. And obviously there's, you know, a ton of games. So I think they're pretty much like, even we're like, they're not directly saying, we're going to drop it, but it definitely, the way they're wording things leads to believe like, there's already like enough there, so we can like let it go and it'll be fine because we've done as much as we can with that kind of thing. But I think we'll wrap it up there for this week. You can catch me at the Mango Viking on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And Eli, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Paul Salon. You can find me on YouTube, Nintendo Network 64. I'll have a new video up soon, hopefully. And then enthusiast.gg/Nintendo Enthusiast for my writing.
And maybe Insomniac Twitter?
Yeah, maybe eventually-ish. We'll see.
I don't even know if you'd actually be running their Twitter or something
Probably
else.
not.
I'm pretty sure you wouldn't. But I don't know. Maybe talk to them and try to pull off a Sonic the Hedgehog kind of thing. Just go crazy with it, with Ratchet. And Mike, where can people find you?
All right, guys, you can find me Troy Fullbuster on Twitter and on YouTube, Gaming Night Live, SME Gaming 64, and Twitch, Craigasm AF. Inconsistency, yes.
You goofball. And Unoclay, where can people find you?
Let's switch to this person.
You can find me right here on this podcast. I'm not going to plug anything this week. You can switch to listening to me over here, and that'll do you just fine.
You couldn't go one podcast without it. I like that. You're like, I got to get it in. It's my only chance. Oh man, good stuff. So wherever you're listening, you can find us at Just Another Castle everywhere on the internet. So until next time, leave luck to the heavens and leave gaming to Nintendo.